Good evening, Florida, and welcome to Coastal Conservative News, where truth has a backbone and freedom still has a home. I'm Michelle Posey.
And I'm Allie Leger, and we're bringing you the bold stories, the real headlines, and the voices that matter most right here from the heart of the free state of Florida.
That's right. We go from Tallahassee to the Suncoast. For all that distance, we're tracking the political shifts, the community victories, and constitutional battles shaping the future of our state and our nation.
Absolutely. So buckle up. It's time to get informed, get fired up, and get involved. This is CCN, Coastal Conservative News.
Okay, guys, let's kick things off with Katie. She has your week in review.
Welcome to CCN. I'm Katie with your week in review. On August 21st, a Florida Republican lawmaker took aim at one of the most powerful forces in many neighborhoods, Homeowners Association. State Representative Juan Carlos HOAs, a Republican from Miami, is floating a proposal to abolish HOAs for single-family homes. HOAs says HOAs have become a failure experiment, accusing them of acting like they run the show, piling on sky-high fees, and keeping homeowners in the dark. Instead of HOAs, HOAs is exploring alternatives like community development districts, systems he say could provide the same neighborhood services, but with more oversight and fairness. The question remains, is this a bold step toward protecting Florida families? Or is eliminating HOAs altogether going to cause chaos? As of today, Florida's East Coast is seeing big crowds on the beaches as surfers tackle massive waves caused by Hurricane Erin. From Cocoa Beach to Daytona, the swells are impressive, but the storm is dangerous. Erin, once a Category 5 and now a strong Category 2, is driving life-threatening rip currents, coastal flooding, and high surf all the way up the Atlantic seaboard. Officials warn the water is not safe. Erin is a reminder Florida's beauty can turn powerful and deadly in an instant. A hot topic in Sarasota is the big decision about the fate of the historic flying bridge on Casey Key. It's the last bridge of its kind here in Florida, a piece of old Florida charm that locals say gives their community its character. Many residents want it to stay, calling it irreplaceable, but county officials point out the bridge is more than a landmark. It is one of two evacuation routes off the island. Engineers warn the narrow, outdated span could slow down evacuations and put lives at risk if a major hurricane threatens. With storms growing stronger each season, safety is now at the center of the debate. For now, the flying bridge still stands as both a symbol of Florida's past and a test of how the community balances history with public safety. What if simply lying down could help heal your heart and restore your energy? That's the power of ECP therapy, an FDA-cleared treatment trusted for more than 25 years. It improves circulation, fights fatigue, and boosts clarity, all without surgery or medication. This is natural healing backed by science. Experience it for yourself at We the People Health and Wellness Center in Venice, Florida. Here at CCN, we support medical freedom. On Tuesday, August 19th in Sarasota, Florida, a debated agenda item on the Student Code of Conduct was heard but ultimately tabled until the next hearing. The discussion focused on proposed changes to the policy's anti-harassment and discrimination language. The proposal would remove specific groups currently listed in the policy, and by doing so, eliminates the risk of leaving any one group out. Supporters say the intent is to protect all children, literally all children, under one standard of fairness. During the policy uproar, Board Chair Tim Enos delivered a warm farewell announcing his resignation as he departs to return as the district police chief. The mood was warm and supportive. Attendees rallied around his dedication to student safety, seeing him as a leader who put kids first, not politics. But during that unity, one board member's remarks seemingly backstabbed Enos after his commendable service and focused on what matters most, our children's safety and well-being. After Tom Edwards attacked Tim Enos' character, he went on trying to falsely accuse Superintendent Connor of having prior arrangements with Enos and hiring him as police chief. Edwards continued on, turning his criticism to the ZEM movement. throwing a full-blown tantrum. Bridget Ziegler and Robin Marinelli pushed back firmly, reminding everyone that this board is about supporting students, not pushing a personal agenda. They reiterated the core mission should remain student safety, reading scores, and educational outcomes free of politics. Ziegler even applauded speakers who emphasize reading scores, urging that the conversation stay focused on exactly that, reading scores and academic progress. Despite complete slander she's received from Tom Edwards and his supporters, she continues on with class. With the departure of Enos, Sarasota anticipates a new board member to be appointed by the governor. Under Florida law, the governor has the authority to handpick the replacement to serve out the remainder of Enos's term. We will keep you informed. We are definitely on the edge of our seats. In Florida, it's not just touchdowns and tackles for two Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's faith first. Running back Bucky Irving and wide receiver Tez Johnson have built a daily routine that starts with prayer. The two teammates pray together every morning and make time to attend church on Sundays, no matter how busy the NFL grind gets. In a league known for pressure, fame, and high stakes, Irving and Johnson are showing fans that faith and brotherhood can be just as powerful as football. Their commitment is a reminder that community and God go hand in hand with talent on the field, and it is definitely inspiring in the state of Florida. I'm Katie. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week here on CCN.
Hi. Hello, how are you?
We are here to get an IV.
An IV. I heard you have an IV room?
Yeah, absolutely. You just head right back this way.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Knock, knock. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
I'm Sarah.
Sarah, this
Hi,
is Al.
Allie. Nice to see you.
How can I help you?
We're stressed. We're
Yeah.
moms. We've got multitasking going on. I feel like I fall victim to like a brain fog a little bit. I don't know if that's my age or whatnot.
You need a little bit of clarity, a little bit of energy.
Yep.
Is there of an IV that you would recommend for that? Thank you.
We call this the brainstorm.
The brainstorm.
The brainstorm.
Come visit We the People Health and Wellness Center.
Where medical freedom exists. Welcome back to CCN. Thank you, Katie, so much for that report and for informing all of our parents. It's so important.
We need that.
Now that you are here, we are going to go to Raj Dorswamy with our Suncoast Community segment.
On today's community segment, we are actually going to focus on some exciting events taking place right in our coast. And we're focusing today on the extraordinary Seed to Table. If you've not been there, you should please do yourself a favor and Google Seed to Table. This is an extraordinary place for conservatives to hang out and have a good time. And by a good time, let me tell you what I mean. Monday, August 25th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., live music at Hops and Vines. Happening again, live music. And guys, you got to know that this is patriotic music. It's fun music. The people there are a blast. The food at Seed to Table is extraordinary and healthy for you. Live music taking place again on Tuesday, August 26th. Wednesday, August 27th, something even more exciting, if that's even possible. It's called Wine Down Wednesday. Get it? Wine Down, not wind down, but Wine Down Wednesday. Again, 6 to 9 p.m. Food and drink specials, 5 to 10 p.m. So don't miss Wine Down Wednesday. The bar there is extraordinary. Wednesday, 27th, also 8 to 10 p.m. Guess what? Girls' Night Out. Girls' Night Out. Check this out. Every Wednesday at Seed to Table is Girls' Night Out. Ladies drink free from 8 to 10 p.m. Hit the dance floor and hear all of your favorites, 80s, 90s hits, dance hits, and the top 40. Got to check that out. And just when you think that might be all, no, there's more. Thursday, August 28th. What's happening there? Live music at the beer bar. Live music at the beer bar, starting a little earlier, 4 to 7 p.m. Here's some live music from talented local bands at the beer bar. August 28th, Thursday, 7 to 10 p.m. I Love Rock and Roll. That's every Thursday, 7 to 10 p.m. at Seat to Table. Live music upstairs. Don't forget to ask them about their catch and cut dinner specials. Again, Friday 29th, 4 to 7 p.m. Again, more live music. Saturday, 4 to 7 p.m. live music. And the fun starts again the following week. So you got to check this out. Just Google Seed to Table, seedtotable.com. Phone number there is 239-310-7331. 239-310-7331. You're going to love it. And now let's get to our regular community segment with information from One Christ, One City. Hello, my friends. I'm so happy to have Jim Fobister back. Jim has been so active in our local area with One Christ, One City. For the folks that missed the first interview we did, let the people know what One Christ, One City is about and some exciting stuff that you've got happening right here in the next few weeks.
Thank you, Raj. Thanks for having me back. One Christ, One City was founded May 5th, 2009, where we got together with the pastors of the city and we came together for the goodness and glorifying of Jesus Christ. And for the last 16 years, we've done things throughout the city together. We've prayed together, we've had baptism together, we've fed the hungry, clothed the naked, all that stuff. So it's been a great run. We've just passed $3 million of benefits to the city through the caring Christians of this area. So it's an honor to represent them. And here I am today, Raj, with a couple new things.
And it's remarkable because you guys at One Christ, One City are a platform for so many of these pastors from so many different churches to collaborate on specific issues. This is a rare thing. So if that appeals to you, you got to go check out their website, One Christ, One City. Is it .com or .org?
.com.
OneChristOneCity.com. But like Jim mentioned, there's some things happening here. Let's get right into it. I love this advance, not a retreat, an advance.
Yes.
I'm going. Can't wait for it. Talk to the people about what's happening there.
Thanks, Raj. Yes, Advance is a gathering of men for 30 hours. So on September 20th at 9 o'clock in the morning, we arrive at the Holiday Inn on Albee Road. And there we will have table facilitators, worship, prayer, and guest speakers. And we go at the Holiday Inn, stay overnight, and then go till noon the next day, which is the 21st. And in that time, you're in small groups. It's more of a sharing workshop than it is a lecture. And you'll get to meet other Christian men from the area. We have John Skorsky, our worship leader out of the Front Church out of Bradenton.
He's so great. Love John.
John's a great singer. We're having him and some real good guest speakers. So please come out. You can go to onechristOneCity.com. We've kept the price to $99. So wow. $99 a man. You share a room and then you get a lunch, a dinner, a breakfast, and a lunch, all for $99. Plus you get closer to Christ. We can guarantee that. So it's called Pursuing Christ. And it's a men's advance, and it's September 20th to 21st. Register at onechristOneCity.com. And ladies, if you're listening to this, why not send your guy to us and spend 30 hours getting to know Christ? I know they will be coming back a better person.
You know, this is a very important thing that your group is taking on, because in today's society with so much social media fragmentation, there's so much isolation, Jim. There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of things that people are trying to cope with. And it seems for men in particular, there's not as many resources or authentic conversations taking place about what men are dealing with and coping with. So this is really a great opportunity for people to come. Now, for those people listening that they've never done anything like this, they may not even be attending a church, or they might be, but they're like, wow, that's intriguing, but I don't know anyone there. I don't know what it's like, and I'm really not quite sure if I would fit in or be comfortable. What would you say to those men that are watching that are kind of in that camp?
Well, Raj, that's a great point, because we have moved this to anybody that is curious about Jesus Christ. When I say curious, either improving your walk if you've been with Christ for a while, or if you're just thinking about what would it be like to take a step towards following Jesus Christ. So that's what this is about. So if you're not sure this is a good place to be, if you are sure and you would like to go deeper, there's going to be all kinds of experience in the room. Again, we're sharing our life with Christ, so it's not a competition at all, Raj. It's everybody is welcome. Wherever you're at is fine. We just want to make sure that you're there and that we can encourage you to find more answers through Christ and through the Bible. So whether you're a new believer, a seeker, we have moved it to Saturday and Sunday because if you're working Monday to Friday, like many of us do, then we want to know that the weekend is the time. And you're only gone one day. We've switched it to a one-night event instead of a two-night event because we want to make sure that you're back with the family as fast as you can. So that's what it's at. You just have to be 18 or over, and everybody is welcome. And again, if you have questions, my number's on the website, or you can call 941-223-1771. And to Raj, your point, I can explain what our purpose is for the advance.
The opportunity here, I went on a previous one, and I was bunking with a guy named Jason, and really got to know him. He's a super cool guy, lives here in Venice, and we are friends now since then. It's been a couple of years, and we've collaborated on different projects. So I really encourage you, especially if you're on the bubble, to take the plunge. You will definitely be glad you did. Now, you guys also, another extraordinary thing that you do, in addition to having all these churches work together, working in the city, cleaning the city up, helping people that, like after the hurricane, people had damage, had no way of repairing holes in their home, mobile home. And your guys went and actually helped, screw stuff in, fix things. So it's a very practical approach. You're going to love these guys, but you also have a meeting every week. Talk to us about that.
Raj, we started in 2007, just before One Christ One City was officially formed, and we've been meeting at Panera Bread in Venice at 7 a.m. every Thursday, 7 a.m. It's an open house. You come on in, you get to find out a little bit more about we get to know about you and your walk with Christ, and then we encourage one another. 12, 14, 15 guys every Thursday, but the interesting thing is 10 different churches are represented. So it's about who is working for Christ, glorifying Christ. Hey, and we're only guys. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to need help. We're all going to need prayer, and that's what Thursdays are about. And with that in mind, Raj, our new website that will be launched in September is called justjesus.net. Justjesus.net. And what we found is that there's a lot of people that have a question about Christ, whether it's about a miracle, a parable, a teaching, the 7 I Ams, all these different things. The Bible can be pretty intimidating. And so we want to get to that New Testament, the new covenant of Jesus Christ. He died for you. He's redeemed you. You are fine the way you are. He just wants you to get to know him. So you can go to justjesus.net and you can ask any question. There's all kinds of video to study, articles to study, questions answered, all kinds of things, Raj. So that's justjesus.net. If you ever, men, women, kids, anybody that wants to know about Jesus Christ, we are there for you.
I love what you're talking about where it says justjesus.net, because to me, when I hear that, Jim, what I'm thinking to myself is, you know what? This is not about religion. This is not about dogma. This is not about the things that may sometimes divide us. This is all about what actually can bring people together. Why did you choose that name? I mean, that's what I got out of it, but why did you guys choose that name? JustJesus.net.
Well, it's JustJesus.net. It's all about Jesus Christ. And so right away we have to remind our viewers that Christianity is not a religion. Christianity is a relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's where One Christ, One City got started, and our pastors too. Our churches focus on what's in common in Jesus, not what's a little bit different. And the other thing is, like if you've ever watched somebody play music and they're playing Beethoven and they're on the piano and they mess up and you go like, well, that sounds terrible. Do you blame Beethoven or do you blame the player? So when you go to church and somebody is trying to be like Jesus and they mess up, don't be blaming Jesus, don't be blaming the Bible. It's the person that's doing it. They might be trying to do their best, but when they mess up, you have to look past that and keep in mind that the Bible is the truth, it's God's words, it's infallible, and Jesus is the only way, the truth, and the life. So from that standpoint, don't worry about past hurts about what's happened at church. Have that perspective. It's not Jesus that let you down.
Love this. So a lot of things for you guys to do. We got the advance that's happening on September
20th, Saturday.
And the way to get that is onechristOneCity.com. Go to the website.
Yep.
And it's one, O-N-E, Christ, WON1city.com. OneChrist1city.com. Get it? So I love that name. You have there.
Yeah.
And then you got the Thursdays meetings at Panera.
Correct.
You got the new website coming, justjesus.net. A lot of activities, and none of this makes any difference unless you take an action. So I'm asking you to do two things. One, as soon as this website, in fact, pause this video right now, go to onechrist7city.com, register, get your ticket for the men's advance. Second thing is take this video and share it with 5 people in your life. Look up at your phone, look up 5 people that you care about, call them up and say, hey, I'm sending you a video that is going to make a big difference. Please watch it, and then send them a link to that video. Jim, thank you for what you guys are doing at your team with One Christ, One City, making such a big difference here. Look forward to having you again.
Thank you, Raj. And remember, Christ loves you.
Remember, Christ loves you. Fantastic. Back to you, Michelle and Ali.
Thank you, Raj, for that report. It's pretty interesting to see the men in the community stepping up. That's with One Christ, One City, so we hope you'll check that out. Next up is our Political Pulse segment right here on CCN.
Good evening and welcome back to Coastal Conservative News. This is Political Pulse, where we cut through the noise and bring you the heartbeat of the free state of Florida. I'm Ali Leger.
That's right. And I'm Michelle Posey. Tonight, Florida takes a stand on culture, cracks down on illegal activity, and continues leading the nation on education, accountability, and fiscal responsibility.
From Orlando's streets to the state capitol in Tallahassee, here's what you need to know.
All right, let's start off with the Florida Department of Transportation. They have restored order to Orlando streets, removing a rainbow-painted crosswalk that distracted drivers and really violated state standards.
100%. State Senator Carlos G. Smith lashed out online, calling it a political attack. But here's the truth. This was vandalism dressed as virtue signaling. Florida's roads are for traffic safety, not political billboards.
Ooh, I like that. Now, the governor's office said clearly streets belong to taxpayers, not activists. And Floridians overwhelmingly agree.
I mean, and this was taken down in other cities around Florida and counties around Florida, so Orlando is no different. And just like that, the roadways are back to serving their true purpose, safety.
Absolutely.
Now, a tragedy struck the Florida Turnpike in Fort Pierce. A semi-truck driven by an illegal alien using a fraudulent license caused a very fatal accident.
Yes, and even though it happened because of the missteps of the leadership in California, that's not stopping Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins. He spoke nationally on the urgent need to extradite the driver, Harjinder Singh. Governor Ron DeSantis confirmed this. He said there will be justice in Florida and in Florida courts, and there's a really great video we want to show you guys. This is Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins going to California and extraditing him back to Florida because Florida doesn't want it.
Well, that enraged a lot of people, and rightfully so. And I'm one of them. There are 3 innocent lives that have been lost, taken by an illegal immigrant that crossed over the border, again, illegally, in 2018. That is 3 citizens of our great state lost, lives cut short because of this. This is preventable, and that's why Florida is fighting all day, every day on this.
You know, it's so enraging because you see time and time again, we see the people that come from, you know, the second and third world. They just don't understand how to live in a society like this. They don't have the respect for life that they need to have to live here either. And this is a perfect example of it. The president issued an executive order back in April, reinforcing that all truck drivers in the United States should be able to speak English. Illegals should not be driving trucks. That's an executive order from the president. How is Florida enforcing that?
So, you know, the president has been doing incredible things when it comes to immigration. What he's pushed out in terms of illegal immigration and getting the states to partner with him, Florida has been at the epicenter of this. You look at what we've done with Alligator Alley, with our new site, Deportation Depot, over in Baker County. We have stepped forward and stood by the president, maximizing the 287G, making sure our law enforcement are aligned, and we take this serious. You know, we know that the biggest issue to the American people right now, and why President Trump has this drive, this referendum from the American people, is because they want illegal immigration taken care of. They've made that incredibly clear. And here in Florida, we're going to make sure that happens. We're fighting right beside the president. Governor Ron DeSantis has done an incredible job on this. And we believe that when Florida leads, America wins. We are the conservative proving grounds of America.
Attorney General James Uthmeyer explained the extradition process, emphasizing, quote, Florida will not allow foreign criminals to escape accountability.
We love that. And in a decisive move, President Trump revoked the trucking company's license, making it clear corporations that aid illegals will be shut down. Take a look at this.
Former Attorney General Ashley Moody weighed in, calling the case a warning sign that stronger border and ID enforcement are non-negotiable.
Absolutely. And Lieutenant Governor Collins is now assisting in the extradition, as we said earlier, ensuring Singh faces Floridians in court for the innocent lives that were lost.
Turning to Florida schools, a mom's emotional testimony at the State Board of Education has gone viral. She described how her children were bullied and silenced for their beliefs. Check it out.
My son, 6 years old, was prohibited from sitting next to his friend on the school bus because a parent objected to my perspectives on book challenges. My older son's history teacher allowed students to label him a Nazi-phile simply for his interest in history and participation in ROTC. She later nominated my son as the most likely to become a dictator and had his classmates vote on it and try to force him to the front of the class to receive the certificate, which he rightly refused, all because of his conservative values and our perspective.
Now, Attorney General Uthmeyer responded immediately, calling for the resignation of the teacher involved that you saw there. He said, quote, Florida will never tolerate educators abusing their authority to silence or shame children. Amen to that.
I really think it's quite wild that a teacher would give out a certificate for something that egregious, calling them, most likely to be a dictator. That is insane.
What you pour into a child at a young age really does, it can take root, and that's why we have to hold them accountable.
Become the voice in their head later, and I think
Absolutely.
that teachers need to be careful with what they say around young minds.
And let's face it, this teacher is not a reflection of the vast majority of teachers in Florida. So
yes, but in Alachua County, the state ruled the school board violated parents' rights, their First Amendment rights, when they had a parent removed for expressing his opinions on what the Alachua County school board chair there said about MAGA. They've been warned to course correct and are now course correcting, or they will face withholding of their salaries.
And the fight continues, guys. Governor DeSantis just announced Florida is suing 2 major textbook publishers for fraud, exposing misleading and biased curriculum. Now, wait a minute. They said this wasn't happening, right? They said, why are you going after the textbooks, man? This is why.
This is exactly why.
We're holding them accountable for a different reason. Today, we're announcing that we're taking action against 2 major textbook publishers that have been exploiting our school districts at the expense of our taxpayers and at the expense of our students. Through a whistleblower complaint filed with the Attorney General's office, the state of Florida has learned that some of our school districts were being overcharged by millions of dollars for these instructional materials. Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer took immediate action, and he has led the state filing a lawsuit against McGraw-Hill and Savvis Learning for violating state law and taking away valuable resources from Florida schools. When textbook publishers apply to be placed in the state's adopted textbook list, they agree in writing to automatically reduce the price of instructional materials to the district school board to match reductions that have been made in other places throughout the United States of America. And that was not being done by these 2 textbook companies. The complaint filed by the Attorney General states that there have been at least 5,900 instances.
Education Commissioner Stasi Camusas added, quote, we will not allow publishers to profit from deceiving Florida families. And we agree with this.
100%. Governor DeSantis also highlighted Florida's financial success. We just keep winning on all fronts.
Yes, we do.
Under his leadership, the state has paid off nearly half of its tax-supported debt since statehood. Wow.
Absolutely. While Washington spends recklessly and DOJ is trying to reel that in under President Trump's administration, Florida is securing its future by doing the same thing. And balancing budgets and debt reduction and responsible spending are Florida's hallmarks.
Absolutely.
Finally tonight, a debate over Second Amendment rights. GOP Chair Evan Power addressed Florida's red flag laws, which currently blocks adults ages 18 to 20 from legally purchasing firearms.
one to buy a firearm here. But ahead of the next regular session starting in January, high-ranking Republicans seem ready again to push for a return to 18. Online, the chair of the Florida Republicans, Evan Power, openly advocating for it. He broke it down for us Monday.
Look, if you can sign on the dotted line and be forced on a draft to go serve your country and fire guns, why are we not letting those people have those rights in our state? And I think constitutional rights are constitutional rights. They start at 18. If you want to have a conversation about moving the age, it should be about moving all of those rights.
Powers getting backup from the new Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins on social media and in person.
Evan Power argues the law is unconstitutional, restricting responsible young adults from exercising a right guaranteed to them. And he's right. Freedom delayed is freedom denied.
And the issue is heating up. And with Republican leadership in charge, Floridians are demanding answers. And while we do understand that some red flag laws are essentially saying that, oh, my neighbor, if you have a disagreement, my neighbor has weapons in their house and the government can essentially come in and take their weapons regardless of whether or not they are veterans or law enforcement. This is still essentially a part of red flag laws where, you know, we have innocent children that are trying to exercise their Second Amendment rights, which shall not be infringed. And Evan Power says it best. We have that they are able to join our military at the age 18. Why can they not be trusted to carry and own a weapon?
And we have a Republican stronghold in Tallahassee, so maybe Evan Power can use some of his power and might to get in there and maybe have a little bit of a sway there.
Absolutely. We would 100%
We would appreciate that, definitely. From our roadways, guys, to our classrooms, from the courts to the Capitol, Florida is setting the pace for the nation.
We are the tip of the spear, moving the nation forward. And we are protecting kids, enforcing the law, rejecting woke distractions, and proving that conservative leadership delivers safety, prosperity, and freedom.
And we'll keep holding leaders accountable right here on Political Pulse.
They've censored the truth, manipulated the narrative, and told you to sit down and shut up.
But not here, not on our mic.
Open Mic with Ali and Michelle is the podcast where free speech lives, patriotism thrives, and the truth doesn't whisper, it roars.
That's right. We break down the stories the media buries, the policies that threaten your freedom, and the culture chaos Gen Z is waking up to literally every day.
From whistleblower exposés and global conflicts to the spiritual war on masculinity, we don't just talk about it, we say what they won't.
That's right. If you're tired of soft takes, scripted spin, and really plastic politics, it's time to tune in and turn up.
Because this mic is always open.
All right, guys, and now we will go to Kevin Gamble with this week's Faith in Focus.
Hello, welcome back to Faith in Focus, where we dive deep into the big questions of life, faith, and philosophy. Today we're tackling a profound topic, objective moral values and duties, what they are, why they matter, and why they point us toward God. We'll also explore why atheism struggles to provide a foundation for these moral realities, drawing heavily on the work of philosopher and theologian Dr. William Lane Craig. So let's get started. First, let's define our terms. Objective moral values are moral truths that exist independently of human opinions, feelings, or cultural norms. They're not subjective like preferring chocolate over vanilla. They're binding, universal, and true regardless of what anyone thinks. For example, torturing innocent children for fun is objectively wrong, not just because we feel it's wrong, but because it violates a moral standard that transcends us. Objective moral duties, on the other hand, are obligations we have to act in certain ways, like the duty to tell the truth or protect the vulnerable. These duties aren't optional. They apply to everyone, everywhere, at all times. So where do these objective moral duties and values come from? Dr. William Lane Craig, a leading Christian philosopher, argues that they must come from God. In his book, Reasonable Faith, and debates like the one with Sam Harris in 2011, Craig represents what's called the moral argument for God's existence. It goes like this. If God does not exist, objective moral values and duties do not exist. But if objective moral values and duties do exist, therefore God exists. Let's unpack that. Craig argues that for moral values to be truly objective, they need a foundation beyond the physical world, like the laws of logic. Why? because the physical world made of atoms, energy, and natural processes can't produce oughts. Science can tell us what it is, but not what should be. For example, evolution might explain why we feel empathy, but it can't tell us why we ought to act on it. Craig writes in Reasonable Faith, "On a naturalistic view, human beings are just animals, and animals have no moral obligations to one another. If we're just products of blind evolutionary processes, morality becomes a useful fiction, a set of preferences we developed to survive, not truths we're bound to follow." Now contrast this with a theistic worldview. If God exists, he provides a transcendent standard for morality. As the ultimate source of goodness, God's nature defines what is right and wrong. Craig explains, God's moral nature is expressed in relation to us in the form of divine commands, which constitute our moral duties. In other words, objective moral values are grounded in God's unchanging character, and our duties flow from his commands. For example, "Thou shalt not murder" isn't just a cultural rule, it's rooted in God's nature as the giver and sustainer of life. This brings us to atheism and its challenge with objective morality. Without God, what grounds moral values and duties? Atheists often appeal to human flourishing or social contracts, but these fall short. Reason alone can't produce binding obligations. Why should I follow reason if it's just brain chemistry? Human flourishing sounds nice, but who decides what flourishing even means? Different cultures define it differently. Some might say honor killings promote flourishing. And social contracts? They're just agreements we can break if we think we can get away with it. Craig puts it sharply in his debate with Harris. On atheism, there's no objective basis for saying one action is morally better than another. It's all relative. Let's take a real-world example. Most of us agree that genocide is objectively wrong, but on an atheistic worldview, where's the standard that makes it wrong? If morality is just what humans agree on, what happens when a society like Nazi Germany agrees genocide is good? Without a transcendent standard, you're stuck with moral relativism, where wrong is just an opinion. Craig argues this is incoherent because we know some things are truly wrong, no matter what anyone thinks. That intuition points to a moral lawgiver, God. Now, atheists might counter that they can live morally without believing in God, and that's true. They can. Craig acknowledges this, saying, the question is not whether atheists can be moral, but whether their worldview provides a basis for objective morality. Many atheists act according to moral principles, but their worldview struggles to explain why those principles are binding. If we are just cosmic accidents, why should I care about anyone else's suffering? Selfishness could be just as valid as altruism. In contrast, theism offers a robust foundation. God's existence means morality isn't arbitrary or subjective. It's rooted in his perfect, unchanging nature. As Craig writes, if God exists, then the objectivity of moral values and duties is secured because God's commands provide a framework within which we can live and evaluate moral actions. So what's the takeaway? Objective moral values and duties are real. We sense them when we're outraged by injustice or inspired by self-sacrifice. But they need a source beyond ourselves, beyond nature, beyond culture. That source, as Dr. Craig compellingly argues, is God. Without him, morality becomes a house built on sand, shifting, subjective, and ultimately unstable. With God, it's a house built on rock, firm, universal, and true. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. God bless you, and I'll see you again.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for keeping our faith front and center, as always, and talking about where we really get our moralities from. I definitely don't think it comes from apes, so.
Or schools.
Or schools, clearly. We've seen that.
Guys, for Coastal Conservative News, I'm Michelle Posey.
And I am Allie Leger.
We'll see you next week, 7 p.m. sharp.
God bless you, and God bless the great state of Florida.